All right, tonight we're going to work with applied problems and still using volume formulas. Remember that when you're working with volume and applied problems that you always need to use the same type of units to measure. So if you don't have the same type of units, you want to compare them until you do. So the first question says, to complete a construction job, a contractor needs 78 cubic yards of concrete. First piece of information. The contractor has a conical pile of concrete that measures 22 feet in diameter and a height of 12 feet. So the first thing we need to do is figure out what type of geometric shape we're working with. And a conical pile is going to be the shape of a cone. So I'm going to draw my cone here. I'm going to put my information on here that the problem gives me. I know that the diameter is 22 feet. And I know the height is 12 feet. So the first question wants to know how many cubic feet of concrete are available to the contractor. So I know to find the volume of a cone, we have to use the formula V equals 1/3 area of the base times height. To determine the area of the base, we need to look at the base, and I know cones always have a circular base, so I'm going to draw a circle. To find the area of a circle, I use the formula area equals pi r squared. So I've got to find my radius. If the diameter is 22, my radius is going to be 11. So the area of this base is going to be pi times 11 squared. Put that in the calculator, you get 121 pi. So I'm going to substitute that in to find my volume. So I know the volume is equal to 1/3. The area of the base is 121 pi. And the height of the cone is 12. So if I put that in calculator, I find out that I have 484 pi, and that's cubic feet, which is feet to the third power, because volume is always to the third power. So I've answered question 1, how many cubic feet of concrete? I have 484 cubic feet. Now let's look at question 2. Question 2 says how many cubic yards? Well, I know I have 484 times pi cubic feet. And I want to find out how many cubic yards, so I've got to compare that. So I'm going to put it over x so I can find it. I know that there are 3 feet in 1 yard, but I want them to be cubic feet, so I've got to use my exponent for 3 for cube. And in order to solve any proportion, I want to cross multiply. So when I cross multiply, that gives me 484 pi times 1 cube would be 484 pi. When I cross multiply the other way, that gives me 3 to the third power times x. So if I follow the order of operations, I need to get 3 to the third power, so 484 pi equals 3 times 3 times 3, which would be 27 x. So in order to solve how many cubic yards I need to divide both sides by 27. So they can't eliminate on the right. So x equals 56.3. And that would be cubic yards, so yards to the third power. So I've answered question 2, how many cubic yards? Finally, I need to answer the question, does the contractor have enough concrete to finish the job? Well, I know he has 56.3 cubic yards. And from the information, I know that to complete the construction job, he needs 78 cubic yards. So since he only has 56.3 and he needs 78, no, he does not have enough concrete. Let's go to the next question. It says an art gallery is a 6-story building, square pyramid, with a base area of 1/2 acre. And then it gives you some information of how to compare. It wants us to estimate the volume in cubic yards and cubic feet. So the first thing I do is I try to draw a square pyramid. And I'm not very good at drawing them. So I've got my picture here. I know from the information that the base area is 1/2 acre. So this whole part right here is going to equal 1/2 acre. And I know that the height is 6 stories. So I know the height of it is 6 stories. All right, now remember I said you always have to use the same type of dimensions, so I can't find the volume until I've got stories and acres in the same dimensions. So let's work with acres. If I have a half an acre, the information tells me an acre equals 4,840 yards squared. So let's compare that. 1 acre is equal to 4,840 yards to the second power. So when I cross multiply, because that's how I solve a proportion, I would multiply 1/2 times 4,840, and that's going to give me 2,420, and that will be yards squared, and that's going to be the area of the base. Now let's work with our stories, because we don't have yards and we have stories. So if I look at my stories, the question tells me that it's 6 stories. And I know that 1 story is approximately 10 feet. So we can change that to feet by setting up a proportion. I know 1 story is equal to 10 feet. So if I cross multiply to solve this proportion, I would say 6 times 10, that equals X, and that's going to be how many feet? But still I'm working with yards, so I need to make another comparison. So if I have 60 feet, I want to know how many yards. So I'm put 60 over 8. I know there are 3 feet in 1 yard. So again, I want to cross multiply. So if I cross multiply here, that gives me 60 equals 3x. And to solve, I need to divide both sides by 3. So I know x equals 20, and that would be yards. So now I have my base area in yards, and I have my height in yards, so I can solve the volume. So I want to go to the volume. I know volume is equal to 1/3 the area of the base times the height. So I know that I have 1/3, and I need to see what the area of the base is. The area of the base is 2,420. So I'm going to put 2,420. And I need to see what the height is. The height is 20. So I'll put 20 in here. And my answer is 16,133.3, and that's going to be cubic yards. So I've answered the first question. Now they want us to do it in cubic feet. So if I want to change that to cubic feet, I've got to use the relationship between feet and yards. So 16,133.3 cubic yards equals how many cubic feet? So I know I have 1 yard for every 3 feet, and I want them to be cubic, so I got to cube them. So I'm going to cross multiply. So that's going to give me 16,133 times 3 cubed, which is 27. And so my answer is going to be 435,600 cubic feet. Feet to the 3rd power. So now I've found in cubic feet and in cubic yards, I've answered the question. We'll work on some more of these tomorrow in class. So